In the year 897, the walls of St. John Lateran didn't just hold prayers, they held a secret that would stain the papacy forever. A corpse, long since returned to the earth, was dragged back into the light. This was not a burial, it was an exhumation, a spectacle of madness. Welcome to the Cadaver Synod, a trial where the judge was living, but the defendant was rotting. The air in Rome was thick with treachery, factions fought, and popes were merely pawns in a game of blood. Pope Stephen VI, a man consumed by hate, desperate to destroy a ghost. His target? His predecessor, Pope Formosus, dead for 7 long months. They unearthed him, not with reverence, but with a primal, desperate malice. He was washed, dressed in the heavy, gold-threaded vestments of his office. They forced the putrefying body onto a throne, a puppet of God, posed for a grotesque finale. The stench must have been unbearable, yet the court was silent. Paralyzed by fear, Stephen stood before the road. His voice echoed, demanding answers from a mouth that had none. Why did you, in your ambition, usurp this see? The silence was his only answer. A petrified deacon was assigned to speak for the dead, a voice for the voiceless void. The charges were read, perjury, illegal ascension, the crimes of a man now beyond the reach of human law. And as the farce continued, the very earth seemed to recoil from the blasphemy. The building shook, an earthquake, or perhaps the architecture itself was weeping at the sight. Stephen did not stop. He was committed to the destruction of a memory. The verdict was a foregone conclusion. Guilty. The papacy of Formosus annulled. Every ordination, every blessing, every holy act rendered void. Then, the final desecration. The hands of the blessing were marked for removal. Snip. The fingers used to consecrate were severed, falling into the dust. Stripped of his dignity, he was cast into the streets like common refuse. Not the people of Rome watched from their windows, terrified of the curse he might leave behind. He was thrown into the Tiber, the river, a watery grave for the unwanted. But the river did not claim him. The legend says he washed ashore, carried by currents of divine intervention. Stephen's victory was hollow. The city rose against him. The madness could not be contained. He was thrown into a dungeon, stripped of his robes, just like his victim. And in the dark of his cell, the law of the sword finally found him, strangled. The cycle of blood closed, leaving only the echo of his sins. The Cadaver Synod remains the darkest chapter in the history of the Vatican. A reminder that even in the holiest of places, the human heart can turn to rot. History is written by the living, but it is often haunted by the dead. We become the architects of our own nightmares. The trial of Formosus wasn't just a political act, it was a psychological descent, a moment where the line between heaven and hell was blurred by human ego. The Vatican survived, but the ghost of the Cadaver Synod lingers. The story of Pope Formosus is not one of justice, it is one of arrogance, an arrogance that demanded the very bones of a man to bow before. His story is a grave, and we are constantly digging. Keep your secrets close, and your enemies closer. If you enjoyed this journey into the grotesque, hit that like button, subscribe and ring the bell to descend further into the shadows with us. Thank you for watching Yesterday Bizarre. Stay curious, stay cautious, and above all, remember the shadows.